To complete the square, we need to have a leading coefficient that is 1. If you don't, here's the process that you'll follow to still be able to complete the square. Start out like we did before, grouping together the first two terms and skipping some space, leaving the last term on the outside. Now notice that I've got this pesky 4 that's in the way, but I can get it out of there by just factoring it out of the first two terms. While it's true that there's a 4x that is common in the parentheses, it's only the 4 causing me a problem. So it's only the 4 that I'll take out. When I factor the 4 out, it leaves x squared plus 8x in the parentheses. 4 times x squared is 4x squared. 4 times 8x is 32x. We didn't fool with the 59, so it's still back here by itself. Now ignore the 4, and in the parentheses, doesn't that look just like what we completed the square with before? So now, to be able to finish it out, let's do half of the middle term. Half of 8 is 4. And take that 4 and square it to get 16. Now here's the biggest trick when you have a coefficient other than 1. Whatever you've just added has to be subtracted at the back, but it's maybe more than you thought you added. When we put a 16 here, that 16 is being multiplied with the 4 on the front. So I didn't really add 16, but instead 4 times 16, or 64, was what we added. Since we added 64, we need to subtract 64. Factor the stuff in the parentheses, a perfect square trinomial, square root, same sign, half of the middle term, and combine the things on the outside. Now remember, for it to be quadratic, you have to have that square. When we've got it in standard form, the vertex is opposite of what's inside the parentheses and same as what's on the outside. The axis of symmetry, x equals -4. It's x equals the x value of the vertex. Let's try another. On this one, there's a 3 common to everybody. But as I go to work this one, again, I want to group together the first two terms and leave the 9 on the outside. So even though there was a 3 common to everybody there, I still want to think in terms of just taking the 3 out of the first two terms. Factoring that 3 out leaves an x squared here. 12x, if I divide by 3, is 4x there. Skip that space and put the 9 on the outside. Half of this 4 is 2. 2, when you square it, made 4. Now careful, we've not added 4. 3 times 4, it's 12 we just added. So that means 12 should be subtracted. Let's factor the stuff in the parentheses. That factors as x plus 2 squared. And let's combine the things on the outside. Notice that I kept that 3. You wanted to be able to multiply all this back out and get back to the general form where we've started. Here is our standard form. In the parentheses, opposite of that gives me the x value of the vertex, and the same as what's on the outside gives me the y value. The axis of symmetry for a parabola opening either up or down is x equals the x value of the vertex. So for this one, the axis of symmetry is at x equals -2. When you've got a coefficient other than 1, factor it out of the first two terms. Be careful that what you subtract is truly what you added.